Gosh, like 6 months or so ago at the ERT.
Yep, that's right.
Yep. He came by, someone introduced us, and they said, you got to meet Wands. And first of all, you're in my phone as Wands, because that's how they introduced me. I don't know if people call you that, but it was just like, he's just Wands. He's obviously the owner and creator of this incredible space. Can you tell us a little bit about Wands before we dive into your story? Just your heart. I love hearing your spiel and like why you created it.
So Wands Books is a safe, inclusive, drug and alcohol-free third space that's open late. And I recognize that that's a word salad, but all it means is that you can come and sit and read and exist without making a purchase, and I'm happy for it. The journey here was intentful. So when I came out of the ether, the miasma, it was after multiple attempts at sobriety. When I was kicked out of the Marine Corps in 2006, it was for substance abuse. And I went to a 30-day inpatient treatment, and it didn't stick. And over the next 15 years, I was in and out of the rooms. And then this last time, something changed, and I sought help from other means. And so I got into therapy, and I got a community of people around me with diverse backgrounds in sobriety. And I just changed some things about who I was with and the places I was going, and I had to look inside and see what it was that I wanted for me. And so part of that was finding places to go. And I think anyone who's tried to do anything outside of their home or work will find very quickly that it's hard to do anything without the presence of alcohol. Not only that, but it's hard to do anything anywhere that doesn't involve some sort of transaction. So even like a coffee shop, or like a third space that you would think of like traditionally, like a library or a public park. Public park closes when the sun goes down. The library closes at 6, at least in Norfolk and Virginia Beach. And so if it's 8 o'clock on a Thursday and you want to do something, what are your options?
Nothing.
I'll tell you.
A bar.
It's a coffee shop is the closest thing you can get to it. And even then you got $2 for a tea, and then another $2 for a tip. And then, so yeah, or a bar, or a restaurant. So yeah, I wanted to make a space where you could exist and just be there. That wasn't home, and it wasn't work, and it was safe. And so I wasn't there for me, but I wanted to make it so that it was there for others.
Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, and scene. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop.
No. So was there a moment, like I asked Josh, was there a moment where you kind of knew? For me, there was many, but was there a moment that stands out to you where you're like, I know I need to quit, or I need help, or, you know, what kicked off your sobriety journey?
So there have been multiple attempts at sobriety, lasting from a few weeks to a few months. But I'd never gotten any length longer than maybe 2 or 3 months. And I tried a lot of things, from recovery programs to like, I don't know what they call it, sensible drinking, where like you drink like a sensible amount. And nothing worked for me. To use like terms from the rooms, like I just had to reach my like bottom. I had to reach my rock bottom. And so 6 years ago that happened. And I just didn't want that for me anymore. So yeah, I tried some things that I hadn't tried. I got into therapy, and I tried to find, in the past when I got sober, or I tried to get sober, I ended up making recovery kind of like the be all. It was like, so I wasn't drinking. So my focus was on not drinking, and it worked for a little while until it didn't. And so this go around, I just found things that I wanted to live for, things that, you know, fulfilled me. Like I had to find meaning. And I found that in service to other people. And so, yeah.
I love that. I understand that. I relate to that because I'm 5 years in, and it was the same thing. It was like my everything, right? But I needed something outside of that,
Right.
just sobriety in itself.
Cool.
Yeah. And what keeps you sober now? That would be my next question. Or what do you think?
Man, so many things. I have so many things to be thankful for. I just don't have the bandwidth. I don't know if I could squeeze in a cocktail. I don't have a whole lot of time, and I work a lot. And so I have my son and my friends and my girlfriend and just things I want to do. And then there's the shop, and so that keeps me sober. I go to therapy once a month. It's kind of like maintenance, So when I first got sober 6 years ago, I spent 6 months with Martha at Coastal Virginia Counselors, and then she moved, and that was kind of the end of that treatment session. And I had a good foundation. I had friends around me, and I had patterns of behavior, working out, yoga, mindfulness, reading. And then COVID hit, and I came out of that a little worse for wear. And I was waking up after we reintegrated into society with I just don't know how to put it, existential dread. From the moment I became conscious, I just had this impending sense of doom that I couldn't place. And so that and a few other things got me into therapy again. And I spent a lot of time working on some of the things that I hadn't worked on initially. Yep. And it kind of took me on a mental health journey. So, it gave me some language that I didn't know existed to talk about neurodivergence and ADHD and just, I don't know. It just, it made me more compassionate and more aware about other people and the differences, because I became aware of my own differences. It made it easy to recognize and realize, we're all a little bit different, and that's okay, and it's beautiful. Yeah. So
it's kind of what makes us beautiful, I think. Yeah, right?
I think so.
Our differences. What do you think made the sobriety stick this time around? Was it everything you mentioned, or? It
was a lot of what I mentioned. It was just reaching rock bottom and then shifting my focus. So in the past, I was just kind of letting my story be written. I was doing what everyone else told me I should do that would make me happy or fulfill me or was my responsibility. And it was all this advice that I was receiving from people that when I examined where it originated, in how those people were living, very few of them were happy or fulfilled themselves. So just finding what my purpose was, what meaning there was in this existence for me, and then pursuing that with just a laser focus, indomitable will, and just, no one else can tell you, what's going to fulfill you, what's going to give you purpose, what's going to make you happy. You can only do that for yourself, and that takes a level of honesty that, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to do.
It's very hard. And when you're drinking, I found it's even harder to do because you don't even have the clarity or mind space to do it. At least I didn't,
No. I think back about, because I've been at this for probably 9 years.
Nice.
But I've been sober 6. And so I think of that first few iterations of this business and some of the failures and some of the things that I was able to accomplish. And I just wonder, how things would have been different, those hypotheticals. Yeah. What if, where would I be today? And I try not to dwell on it too long because it's a fruitless endeavor.
Right.
But I'm here now.
I was just going to say that's all you can.
It feels good, and I'm here, and I'm in the present, and I'm abundant. I am surrounded by people who care for me and that I get to care for, and it's just a fulfilling and rich life that I get to live, and I wouldn't be able to do any of that under the influence.
Right. You I always say that. Well, everything I have wouldn't be possible without
none of this would be possible.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Without the community, without sobriety.
Yep.
So yeah, it's kind of what, to answer your questions, this This purpose is what keeps me sober.
I think I know the answer, but I was going to say, what's the best part about sobriety for you?
The connections.
Yeah.
Like this just authentic. I wept about an hour and a half ago. I had some young women that were patrons to the shop for the first time yesterday. And we connected instantly. And they were back in here today to trade in some books. And they gave me a hat, a wizard's hat that they made out of felt. Yeah. And my friends Max and Cedar were here from Reach. And they're a couple that have supported me since like I was selling books out of a storage unit. And I just got to share with them like, it's like, I'm just so lucky to get to be able to do this. And that every day is like a reminder of like just the joy, and my gratitude. That's, sorry, I'm a little too dehydrated
to produce any tears.
Yeah. It gets me a little worked up, and I try and like, I don't want to deny it. I just want to feel those feelings and like observe them. But, just being able to do that, to feel like deeply and intensely, it's not something that I got to do under the influence.
Same. And that's, I think for me, it was, I have ADHD, I relate to all of this.
Oh, yeah.
Late diagnosed, mental health, chicken or the egg, right? Drink addiction. But I didn't feel all the things for the longest time. And I had huge feelings and I didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
And so for me, I used alcohol. I just tried to numb them because I was always too much. I don't know if anyone relates to that, but I was always too loud, too talkative, too bubbly. Like I've heard it all, and so to figure it out, I just numbed. I don't know if you relate to that or.
I relate to it 100%.
Yeah.
And it's, I'll tell you what you do with those big feelings. You observe them.
Yeah.
And you feel them.
Yeah.
And you realize that feelings aren't facts. They're just feelings.
I need to tattoo that on my forehead, the inside of my retinas.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. And like that feeling, that's, the good and the bad. It's the whole gamut. You got to take it all. But like, the highs are high and the lows are low, but like you can feel them and you can process them. And it's, I don't know. It's a more human experience. I feel like
for real. Sobriety is, I call it brutal. It's like beautiful and brutal and all the things. Cause I get to feel the wide breadth of emotions of being a human. Right.
100.
And then also realizing that I don't need a substance to get through it. It's hard though. I'm 5 years in and I'm still figuring this out,
Yeah. I can relate.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
And I think that the work that you do, providing this sort of setting, is important because it's not not every solution is the same,
That's right.
And so just giving people options and just giving people like the dignity and respect to make decisions for themselves and give them all the tools to be able to make choices that are relevant to their experience is I think it's fundamental.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it more beautifully. That's at the heart of this because I felt like, being honest, when I got sober, it was kind of like AA and it was very like, this is how you have to do it. And I was like, I've always been an outside the box thinker. And I was like, well, what about?
And I love AA.
Yeah,
I love the rooms and I love it as a resource and
Sure.
I love that it's there for me if I ever need it. I just, because of my personal convictions and my spiritual religious experience, I couldn't get it to work for me. But instead of like being defeated by it, I found alternatives to that experience. And so, it's kind of like one of the things that like I've taken and applied some of those things that I've learned in the rooms to this space, and just like it's just a safe, inclusive space for everyone.
That's
so
right.
whether you're in the rooms or out of the rooms,
right.
whether like it's just a resource that's here for everyone.
That's right. And that's all I've ever wanted to do, is just kind of widen the tent of being alcohol-free or sober. It's just modeling that we can live a life without it and you can choose your own path. Well, Morgan, you were absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. Can everyone give him a round of applause? Thank you.